Good morning and welcome to the USA Cares podcast. I'm your host, Matt Castor. I am joined in studio today with Alexis Becker. Good morning, Alexis.
Good morning.
Good morning. Well, it is a beautiful rainy morning,
Indeed.
but here in lovely Louisville, Kentucky. But this has been a fun podcast. We've had a series of great guests, and for those of you who are new to joining the USA Cares podcast, Alexis, let me put you on the spot here for a minute.
Okay.
Tell us what this podcast is all about for somebody who's listening for the first time.
Well, our podcast is just, an opportunity to get our name out there, let folks know who we are, and also have some great guests to share their stories, veterans to share their stories of transition from the military into civilian life. We also work with some great partners to share their stories and how, we've worked together to just improve the lives of veterans and their families and, active duty service members as well.
Yeah. So there's so many stories out there. There's so much going on in this world of veterans that I think a lot of people just don't know. Mm-hmm. And so we try to share some of those stories, try to talk about transition. We always want veterans to know that they're not alone, that they may be going through some challenging times. There might be a lot going on in the world, but there's so many people that are in this together. And I think you described that really well. So if you are new to the podcast, welcome. We hope that you'll subscribe. We hope that you'll listen every week. Good morning to Shar in Atlanta, our number one listener.
Yep, Mom.
Glad to have you listening today. So, but we're excited. So last week we had SEAC John Troxel on.
Yes.
Powerful, right?
Yes. It was I was just blown away.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was, it was really overwhelming and a little intimidating, to be honest.
Yes.
To have somebody who's worked next to a president. So two presidents. Yeah.
Yep.
And you're still angry with me because
you stole my question.
I
had one question.
She had one question written down that she wanted to ask him, but I warned her. I said, if I see the question ahead of time, I'm going to ask it. And not on purpose, but just because it'll be in my head and I'll ask it. And sure enough, I did.
You worked it in beautifully, though.
So now we go from one of the top military leaders in the country to a lesser guest, let's say. But
equally as important.
Equally as important. We have a brand new chapter in the beautiful state of Michigan, and the new executive director of that chapter is joining us, Mr. Mike Arnold. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Matt. How are you?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, just another day in paradise here in Michigan.
Another beautiful day in the state of Michigan. Mike, we are so happy to have you with us. We're excited that you're part of the team here at USA Cares and ready to get things kicked off in Michigan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely a cause to me that it's important. I think it's something that I would consider myself to be a student of history, and I you watch and you read and you learn about all the good that American soldiers have done overseas and everywhere across the globe, and it's there's no reason we shouldn't be doing whatever we can to help them out with whatever they need. I mean, they're making the ultimate sacrifice for us and for our freedom, and they're helping, other people in other countries as well. And I think that's something that's kind of, I would say been lost upon a lot of people over the last, 20 to 30 years.
Yeah, I agree. And it's really amazing. One of the things we hear time and time again, Mike, is that veterans are coming out and they feel alone. They feel like they're the only ones going through the difficulty, maybe some of the issues with PTSD or traumatic brain injury, some of these other issues. But what you're doing and what so many others are doing around the country is really building a community so that they don't feel alone.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it starts with, education and getting other people involved.
Right.
Making sure that there is a support group or a safety net for anyone who's served and who needs help.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be veterans. That's the thing we talk about a lot, is a lot of people don't want to help or they don't feel like they should help because they're not a veteran and they don't understand what's going on. Well, I'm sitting here with Alexis. She's not a veteran.
I am not.
I'm not a veteran. Mike, you're not a veteran, but it takes, I
No,
think
sir.
it takes some of us who aren't to step up and say, hey, we are here. We are ready to help, and we can do quite a bit.
Well, quite frankly, and to be honest with you, I think it's should be our duty. It should be everyone's duty to step up and help. I mean, again, freedom isn't free,
Right.
and I feel like that's something that's taken for granted. We're well, all of us are in great places. We're living the greatest country in the world, and that didn't come because it didn't come without a cost. So that's the biggest thing, and for me, it's exceptionally important.
Absolutely.
I'm very passionate about that. I'm very, very passionate about anyone who served. It's a big sacrifice that they're willing to make.
Right. So Mike, hopefully we can build some awareness in Michigan, do some events, get some people together, and really try to get some energy going. And the hope isn't necessarily to bring attention to USA Cares, although that doesn't hurt. But really to give the attention to the veterans. That's why we're here. This organization was formed in 2003 in response to soldiers coming back from Iraq and Afghanistan. I can't think of a more sensitive topic right now than Afghanistan. It's a mess, right? And it's so we're.
Well,
Go ahead.
And I think the hard part is, and I would imagine a lot of people, feel the same way we do, but feel, it's the Afghanistan thing. Am I qualified to comment on that? I mean, it's such a weird spot, but I mean, we just had 13 lives lost,
Right.
And it's it's leadership and accountability, and to me that's inexcusable, and it just these people, we need to help. I mean,
Right.
The Afghanistan thing is it's a train wreck, and I don't want to necessarily cross that road today. I don't want this to turn into Mike Arnold's hour-long political rant.
That's probably best.
But,
yeah.
I mean, it's a disgrace what happened. I mean, 13 people killed.
Right.
What, 20 years over there, and for it to go down the way it did. I mean, I can't imagine. I have a couple buddies that served over there in Afghanistan, and I haven't talked to them about it. It's not a subject I would feel comfortable even broaching with them. But I mean,
well, and we had John Troxel on last week, and he talked about, what was his line, Alexis?
Be proud of your service.
Be proud of your service.
And it wasn't all in vain.
It wasn't.
That was his message, and I thought that was resonated.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, American troops brought 20 years of peace, and we don't need to call all 20 years obviously weren't peaceful, but I mean, you have girls going to school, you have a lot more opportunity because of what our soldiers were over there doing.
There was a lot of progress.
That's huge.
Lots of progress, for sure.
And for those of us, I spent a couple days, as I know you did, Mike, just watching news, right? Watching news after all this was going down. You and I talked about it a little bit, and it's you're sitting there and you're feeling kind of helpless, and you're feeling like this is a mess. There's nothing I can do. Everything's out of control. But the reality is there are things you can do. And that's what I thought was cool. It's part of the reason I wanted to have you on here, was just to talk about the fact that there is something you can do. And you're not alone in this. We just opened a chapter in South Carolina. We opened up in Arizona. California is getting more active again. Texas is going crazy. There's all kinds of activity going on around the country, and we need people to hear the good.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. Going to cut through the noise and get the work done.
Yeah. And then we need Alexis's mom to open a chapter in Atlanta. So if she's still listening, but there is good out there, and there are things that people can do to help, that people can give hope. And what you're doing in Michigan can do just that. So that's part of the reason I wanted to have you on, and just to figure out, just kind of get the word out to your community that, hey, we're getting people together and we're going to do something about this.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've been talking to a lot of people about it. I've been, it's an important cause, and again, it's getting people to know what we're doing. sharing stuff on LinkedIn and just, I love networking. It drives my wife crazy because I'll talk to anybody. It's talking about USA Cares. Hey, I work with an organization, these are the things we're trying to accomplish, and these are the things we're helping, veterans with. It's just raising awareness and letting people know there is opportunity for others to get involved as well. Because I think in Michigan, especially, I think you've got there's a really good base of people people in Michigan that they care about this. This is a subject and a topic and quite frankly a cause that's near and dear to their heart. And it's just letting them know, hey, we're here. This is what we're doing. This is how you can help. That's again, it's a great opportunity for people to get involved, I think.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay. So, and as having the consistency too. So, we're gonna do an introductory event up there in Detroit, hopefully in the next month or so, and get things rolling. And then it's just going to be that consistency. And I know you're a golfer. Hopefully, we can get some golf going. I don't know. I mean, Detroit. Does it ever get warm?
I mean, it's beautiful out right now. It's the best time of the year. It's 72 and sunny.
Okay, for like a week, and then the snow comes back, right?
Matt, I feel like this summer has felt like living in Louisville. I mean, it is back to
felt like paradise?
degrees and 100% humidity. If
Oh,
that's
okay.
paradise to you, I think you're crazy. But I mean, it's been an awful summer up here of nothing but warm. So, I think I'm ready for the snow.
Oh.
At least for a little bit.
Well, maybe for a little bit.
Most of the country's feeling like
You know,
that.
yeah.
It's been really hot everywhere.
And quite frankly, Michiganders, we're just a little tougher than anyone else, so we can live with the
really
the snow
All
and
right.
the cold. It's
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a little more edgy than the rest of the country, but we'll see. A little proud of your
Edgy for
edginess.
sure.
Yeah.
So fun fact, my mom, like my entire family, I was born in Michigan, Detroit, actually.
I forget that. I keep thinking you're Atlanta.
Yeah, well, I moved when I was 6, so Atlanta's home, but
You couldn't take the edgy people.
I was not
Yeah.
at 6.
All right.
But
that was probably a good move to get out of Detroit.
yeah, back then, it's come a long way. It's come a long way. It's coming back.
You
Great
would
city.
think that. I mean, we wanted to.
Absolutely. It will. So we've got veterans in your area. We're going to put out more information. We're going to get them more involved. Other markets in the country where we are looking to add chapters, places like Minnesota, places like Louisiana, places like Florida and Georgia, Alexis, Georgia.
Charlene.
Yeah. So, I mean, to people listening,
you don't have any. You don't have anyone in Louisiana.
Not yet.
I got a guy down there.
There
He's
you go.
An actual veteran too.
Well, there you go.
So,
See, and
I'm
that's
sure
how
he would
this.
Be happy to get involved.
So that's exactly how these tend to start, Mike. Is that we know somebody who's also passionate, and it's that network that spreads so quickly. And that's what I thought was cool. You and I have worked together for years. We've known each other for a long, long time. And this is something that I didn't know that you would be passionate about this. I didn't know that you'd be interested in this. But your response, I did prod you a little bit, but your response has been good, and your passion is evident. And I think that's going to really be what will draw people to the chapter into getting involved again.
I mean, again, I think it's education, and education as far as your everyday person. I feel like it, especially now, is a great opportunity to get. I would love to get young people involved. I think that there's. My wife is an extremely smart person. I mean, way too smart for me.
She is smart, except she made one bad decision, didn't she?
She made one bad decision. That's right.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm always prodding her. Why don't you sit down and watch this documentary with me? And it's about whether it be Band of Brothers or any other. There's a lot of good documentaries, and she's just, I'm not interested in that. And it's like, well, I keep prodding her. You need to be interested in it because these are the reasons. These are the men and women that we're allowed to do what we're doing. Again, I can't. It feels weird to sit in a position and offer an opinion on something like this, but it's there's a a period of time, I would say over the last 20 years, maybe before, right before iPhones, and all this technology we have, where I feel like American people have gotten lost in their own lives and not understanding what else is going on in the world and what, men and women in the service are doing. Again, they're allowing us to do every day and not worry, not be scared. I mean, it's funny. I was talking to someone yesterday after 9/11. I mean, I think everyone was afraid to get on an airplane for a while. Would you agree? Is that a fair statement? I mean,
there was a lot of uneasiness.
When was the last time you were afraid to get on an airplane? I mean, you're not. We're not afraid, and that's because of what our men and women overseas do. I mean, it's not something that I even think about anymore.
Yeah. Do you remember your experience Do you remember your experience on that day?
Well, I was in 6th grade, to make you feel young.
Oh my gosh! Thank you so much.
Taking the I-STEPS test in Indiana, and I remember when it happened, and you didn't really know. Nobody really knew what was going on.
Yeah.
It was, and I think I was young enough to where it didn't fully hit me, the severity of the situation, until several days later.
Right.
But now at 32, again, to make you feel young, Matt.
Thank you, Mike. Awesome.
Looking back now, and
keep going.
Feel young.
Yeah.
Whenever I can. But looking back now, it's not something that ever crosses anybody's mind anymore.
Right.
Nobody thinks about, I'm going to get on this plane and who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You don't think about going to a place and worrying about a terrorist attack or anything like that. And that's, again, because of the great work that we did in Afghanistan.
Right.
To me, that's where are we going now? Is this somewhere we're going to be back to dealing with? Are we going to have another 9/11 because of what happened? It's a scary proposition to look at, some of the decisions that have been made, not only costing people's lives, but, America's great because we're great, but we're strong because the tip of the spear, and the tip of the spear is the men and women who serve. Well,
and I think what's interesting is, and when this podcast airs, Mike, we'll be past September 11th, the 20th anniversary, but it's a gentle reminder, isn't it, of the strength and the resiliency of the American people. And when you look at the fact that you had hundreds of people willing to run into 100-story buildings that are on fire, willing to run through there up the stairs to save people's lives.
And having a sense that knowing they won't come out.
Yeah.
Might not come back out.
Yeah. I mean, you've got that kind of passion and sacrifice in the American people. It does give you hope. It does make you realize, you know what? Yeah, things look bad, but things have looked bad in the past before. Things have looked, dim, but we always fight back. We always come back. And it's because people step up and say, I'll do it. Send me in. Yep. And that's what's amazing about this country to me.
And I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I would struggle to find another country who's done as much good as we have. And that's on the backs of volunteers. I mean, you're signing up to go do this. You're volunteering yourself. And that's another thing I find, I feel like, especially over the last several years, the word hero is thrown around very loosely.
Right.
The men and women that serve are heroes, every single one of them, because they are signing up to go to run into could be the face of death. And,
right.
That's what a hero is. And that's why I'm so passionate about this cause, because I do think this is the greatest country in the world, and we have the greatest people, whether or not, everybody believes it or not. The sense of patriotism after 9/11, 9/11 happened and it felt like the whole country got pulled together. And, everybody needs to get back on board with that, because we all need to be in this together, and everyone is just fighting against each other so hard right now. It's disheartening.
It is. And the always the concern to me is when we come out of a situation like Afghanistan and we're like, okay, the war's over, the service members will go back to doing their thing here in the States. They don't really have the problems anymore. But the reality is, and what we want people to know, is that right now we're getting more than 200 requests per week for assistance. We're getting more requests for assistance than we can possibly financially handle. And this isn't a pitch for people to give donations, but it's just a reality that the need is real. The need is great, and the need is only going to continue. And as we see the end come to the moratorium on eviction, right, Alexis? Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's going to continue, and you've got veterans who have served their country for multiple years in Afghanistan living out of their car. We have people, standing on the side of the road hoping that somebody's going to give them something to eat. We can do something about that. And one of the things that programs like USA Cares, and we're not the only ones that do this by any means. There are great organizations all over the country who do phenomenal work. But what we try to do is if somebody needs food, if a veteran needs food, a post 9/11 veteran, we're going to get them food cards to go to the store and buy the food. If they need a mortgage payment paid, we're going to pay it to their mortgage holder, and we're going to keep them in their house. If they need to make a car payment to keep their car so they can get back and forth to work, we're going to make that car payment. So we're going to do whatever we can to bridge that gap. And in the process, we are reducing the factors that often lead to veteran suicide, which is a staggering number right now. That is up more than 20% off the traditional number of 22 veteran suicides a day. And it takes a lot of people to stand up and say, you know what, I'm not okay with this. I got a problem with this. I want to do something about it. And we can do something about it. And it doesn't have to be where you're sitting there watching the news saying there's no hope. And there are lots of things that we can do. So, Mike, the work you're doing, the work that so many other chapter directors are doing around the country, is going to make a big difference.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree with you more. And that's a terrible statistic. That's an awful number. That's just,
it's why we do this, right? Yeah,
that is a tragedy. I mean, it should make every single person's heart hurt.
Right.
Every time something like that happens.
So we've got a movement. We've got a movement going across the country. It's going to do something about this right now. And it's these chapters programs. And we talk about it a lot. And the reason we talk about it a lot is because it's working. And because it's a lot of passionate people stepping up and doing their job. So, Mike, you're doing that. I'm proud of you. I think it's awesome what's going on in Michigan. I look forward to getting up there soon. We're going to get this thing kicked off. If you are in the Michigan area, you want to get involved, email michapter@usacares.org, and just know that we need you to be part of that chapter. We need you to be involved. We've got so much good stuff coming up. Mike, after I dismiss you, we're going to talk about a few more things coming up, but just be watching the USA Cares website under the chapters tab. Look for events that are coming up. Look for ways that you can get involved, and we'll send out more information. But just know Mike's here to get this thing kicked off. Mike, thank you so much for being on here today. Thank you for all you're doing to help veterans in your community.
Yeah, no problem, Matt. Thank you for letting me get involved. It's something I feel like it's obligated to do.
Well, you're doing a great job.
We'll get more people involved, and we'll hopefully, we need to get something scheduled, Matt, before the snow flies. So
yes, we do.
We got about another week.
Yes, we do. Yeah, exactly. All right, buddy. We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
So, Alexis, talk for a minute about what else is going on outside of Michigan. We have a few other things happening.
Yes, we sure do. So coming up next Friday, September 17th, is Give for Good Louisville. Now
what is that?
It is a 24-hour give-a-thon.
You mean somebody could give for 24 straight hours if they wanted to?
$1 million every hour. No. It's about 500 nonprofits here in the Louisville, Southern Indiana area are getting together in conjunction with the Community Foundation of Louisville. And it is a day of giving. We have a great page set up. And the great thing about this, too, is you do not have to be in the Louisville,
That's
Kentucky.
The big thing, right? You don't have to be in Louisville.
No, to give. And you can pick out any of your favorite nonprofits. Just make sure USA Cares is one of them.
Please include us. Yeah.
You can visit our website. You can also visit Community Foundation, giveforgoodlouisville.org.
Yep.
And search for USA Cares.
Right.
And it's only on September 17th from 12 a.m. until 11:59 p.m.
And one of the cool things we're trying to do is we're trying to get some donors from every single state. So, if you can be a part of that, that would help us. But we want to really, it is about raising money. Don't get me wrong. But it's also about getting the word out about what we're doing and getting more people who are passionate about helping veterans involved. So,
great thing
be a part of it.
We don't help just veterans, or we don't just help veterans here in Kentucky. We help a lot of veterans in California.
Yeah, most
North
of them
Carolina.
aren't in Kentucky, right?
Right. They're everywhere. And so, the dollars raised here don't just stay here. A lot of them do, but we do help a lot of veterans all over the United States.
Yeah, places like California, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, all these areas that we're helping so many veterans. There's so many people in need, and we need you involved. Yep. What else is going on?
September 24th, we've got our Cincinnati chapter has got another awesome event at Rebel Metal.
Shout out to Rebel Metal Brewery. They are doing phenomenal work. If you are a beer fan, check out Rebel Metal in Cincinnati. They are really going out of their way to help veterans in their community, and they are hosting this event.
They sure are. And Mission Barbecue is providing all
Thank
the
you,
yummy
Mission
food.
Barbecue.
They are fantastic. And
Absolutely.
all the other sponsors that have signed on.
Yep.
So yeah, that's September 24th. It's a Friday.
And so James Clark is the executive director in Cincinnati. Thank you, James, for all your hard work. And then there's one other chapter doing something coming up.
Yes, we've got our wonderful Kentucky chapter, which is launching on October 7th.
By Mr. Chris Cruz of Cruz Custom Flags.
Yes, sir. And that is going to be a great event. I don't remember the name. It's barbecue, build, and bourbon.
I think so. We might have gotten that in the wrong order, but you get the point.
You're building stuff, drinking bourbon,
you're
and
building
eating barbecue.
building your own bourbon barrel flag. So it's a cool event. Tickets are very limited to that. It's going to sell out very quickly. So keep an eye on that under the events tab under USA Cares.
And that's October 7th.
October 7th in Shepherdsville, Kentucky.
Indeed.
So awesome. So many good things coming up. So many great chapter events coming up. We are going to be loaded with chapter events next year and as the end of this year. So just keep looking around for stuff in your area. If you are somebody who doesn't have anything near you, if there's no chapter near you, get involved today. Decide that you're going to be the one to make a difference, and you're going to be the one to start one today. Reach out to us at info@usacares.org and let us know that you want to get this thing kicked off. Now, Alexis, where can people find us on social media?
You can find us on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on YouTube.
Is that all of them?
This podcast is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, and
so
subscribe. So thank you everybody so much for another great episode of our USA Cares podcast. Thank you to Mike Arnold for being on. We hope that you will join us again next week. We've got some very special guests coming up, and we are looking forward to talking to you all again. Have a wonderful week.
Bye, guys.